Hello, I'm David Ravenscraft. I'm the Fulton Global Business Distinguished Professor, and normally I don't start out talking about my chair, but there's three interesting facts about my chair I'd like you to know. First, it's named after Paul Fulton, who is one of the individuals who have contributed more to the university than anybody else, but you won't see his name anywhere. The only place his name is on the chair, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Two, Paul Fulton, one of his favorite saying is that global business is redundant. Now, I like that a lot. We both believe in global. I helped start the One MBA program, which is our executive MBA program that focuses on global. So global business is redundant. So when we sat down to think of the name for the chair, what do we call it? The Global Business Distinguished Professor. So the third thing that I wanted to mention about the chair is that when I retire, it is going to be called the Ravenscraft Global Business Distinguished Professor. And how cool is that? It is an incredible honor. I've been at this university for a long time, and it's spent my life here just about, and it's really nice to have something like that when I leave. All right, I'm delighted to get to teach or lead the M&A course for you. And this is a course that literally has been decades in the making, and let me explain that. I have been doing teaching, research, and executive program / consulting in M&A for decades. My teaching, I started out here teaching microeconomics and game theory, and I got out of that because I had to spend about 20% of my time convincing people that microeconomics and game theory really applies in the real world. I don't have to spend a second telling people that game theory, that M&A is important. So I've been teaching M&A for 2 decades here at University of North Carolina. The second thing is I've been working on a valuation model that you'll get to use in this course for at least 10 years. And it took a huge leap in the last year or so. I'm on version 61, that's what I call it. It's probably more versions than that. We've been working on that a long time, and you're going to get a chance to see that and hopefully enjoy that. And finally, I think my courses and myself are finally ready for this blended model that MBA at UNC presents. It's been an interesting process. I've gone from how can I teach what I do in my regular class in this format to going to how can I do what I'm doing at MBA at UNC in my regular class, and that's been a delightful change. So I think it's been decades in the making. I think we're ready to do M&A here. Now, it's important to know what you're getting into in a course, and that's what I want to talk about next. M&A is a very, very broad topic. And one of the things I'm going to emphasize is a lot of mergers fail because you only become an expert on one thing. So I want you to understand the whole process. Anybody in M&A is going to be focused on one aspect of it, but to be successful, you really have to know how that fits in with the whole process. So I'm going to give you that breadth, all the way from strategy through post-merger integration. M&A also is a broad topic in the sense that it isn't one thing. So it's not a large firm acquiring a small firm. That's an acquisition. We'll talk about that. That'll be the main focus. But it has lots of different topics like private equity and hostile takeovers and active investors and emerging market M&A and joint ventures. So we're going to cover all of those. So you're going to get that incredible breadth. That's going to be about half the course. Now, the depth. This was the hard part. If I just give you an overview, if I just give you the basics of everything, to me, that's not enough. I don't think you would be satisfied. I haven't seen other students that I've taught be satisfied. So I have to pick some area to go into depth. What I've learned over time is the area that people appreciate the most, and it's not everybody, but the majority, is more experience with finance and accounting and valuation part of M&A. And I'm a finance professor, so it's sort of a natural fit for me as well to go deep in that area. So that's going to be about half the course. Now, it's going to seem like more than half the course because we're going to have 5 assignments. Valuation is public comparables, so we'll have an assignment on that. Transaction comparables, discounted cash flow standalone, that is without synergies, discounted cash flow with synergies, and then putting the whole thing together, and an LBO analysis. So we'll go through all of those valuations. We'll have an assignment on each one of them because that's going to be really active learning. You're going to think, wow, that's the majority of the case because that's the depth. But it isn't. There's a lot of breadth. You're going to get to see that whole picture, and that whole picture is very, very important because wherever you're going to end up in terms of involvement in M&A, and we all specialize, you need to understand the whole process and where your part fits in if you're going to be successful in M&A. That is the key to success in M&A. So we're going to give you that. So you're going to get both. Somebody once said to me, you know, your talent is you make things that are simple really complicated, and you make things that are complicated really simple. Thank goodness valuation is complicated, because I'm going to try to make that simple for you. I'm going to show you that it comes down to a few equations, and we're going to put them on one page. That's how few equations there are. And you're going to get to know those really well so that you understand what lies beneath valuation. In the end, you're going to be able to throw away those equations, throw away the model, because you're going to start thinking intuitively about valuation. You're going to start thinking about a finance person, and that's what you're going to take away from this. Now, let me emphasize, this is not a course for somebody that wants depth in one of the other areas of M&A. If you want depth in post-merger integration or due diligence, we're not going to be able to do that. I can't go deep in everything unless you want to give me 100 lectures, and I don't think they're going to do that. So we'll give you the basics of post-merger integration and due diligence. The depth part is going to be on valuation, and that's something you're going to have to want to do to have this course work for you. So you're going to get breadth and depth. You're going to get the challenge of valuation, but it's going to be in a format with the format of MBA at UNC is great for this. The model will help you, and I really think you can meet that challenge. So I hope some people that sort of say, I really want to know more about finance, I really want more about valuation, but I'm nervous about it. I think this course will work, but you got to be willing to do that extra work for it. But I think the payoff will be great. So look forward to teaching this course to you, and good luck.